Something really strange here. I think it's probably this.
Oh, I got mine.
No, I don't think it's recalibrating. Okay, today we're just more definitions than really knowing anything mathematically there, children. And it's making sure that you know the difference between a line, a segment, and array. And I think we've talked about it, but today we're also going to talk about how you label them. Okay, first of all, what is the difference between a line and a segment, or a line and a line segment? I know, I think somebody already said that.
I got it right here.
Okay, perfect. What is the difference between this part of the review? Sammy?
A line goes on forever and a segment has 1 point and another point.
Right. In the mathematic world, a line goes on forever. A segment has endpoints. And a ray is, Madison? Start with no stop. Okay, now, we've already gone over that, but today we're going to talk about labeling them. Okay, just because something's a line doesn't mean that there won't be dots on it. Okay, there will be what we call those points on there. If this is an A and a B, okay, when you are telling somebody you're talking about this line here, okay, when you write it on your paper, you are going to take two of the points on the line. Here, let me do this so you can see kind of the difference here. Both of these have the same points on them, correct? They're both A's and B's. But how do I tell somebody the difference between if I'm talking about a line which never ends and a segment that does end? What do I do to these two things to show somebody that I'm talking about, in this case, a line that goes on forever, and in this case, a line segment? Grace? Well, and that's why we're talking about it. See, we're going to learn something new here. Okay, if you want to tell somebody you're talking about that whole line above the letters A and B, whoa.
Awkward.
It's not really awkward, it's just bizarre.
Bizarre.
Bizarre. You put a little line that has two arrows on it. Okay, because this tells somebody you are talking about line A, B. Okay, so you can't just put the letters A, B there because somebody doesn't know if you're really just talking about that whole line, if you're just talking about that segment. And if you're just talking about the segment, then you do that without the arrows. And without the arrows, then somebody knows you're talking about just that segment A, B. Okay? And then this one, guess what you do here? By the way, if I put a little dot here. What do you suppose I do above this if I want to tell somebody I'm talking about array AB? It's going to be, Sammy Bollinger.
You put array.
Exactly. You put array above it. And that would be ray AB. Because, children, you could have A, B, C. Okay, if I've got that line that has all those points on it, there's a whole bunch of different things I could be talking about with that. If I said this, if I put that on there, what am I talking about? That little BC with that little thing above there, Caitlin, is?
Array.
And what ray is it? It's the ray that starts at B and goes forever this way. It doesn't end at C. C is just another point on it. Remember, a ray never ends. It has a starting point and never ends off in that direction. So this would be, and you would say that as ray BC. Or if I was talking about this, if I put that little line above the AC, what am I talking about? Well, it's either gonna be this, this, or that. What is the Ryan Conrad's talking about?
For me,
Like just that segment that starts at A and goes to C. Just that little piece of that line is what you're talking about. So you have to make sure when you talk about things that you label it correctly. We can't just go, oh, here, I'm gonna put down here BA. Okay, because I don't know if you're talking about segment BA, you could be talking about array BA, or you could really be talking about this whole line. Because there's a whole bunch of different ways. How many different ways could I label this line? How many different ways could I label this line?
message.
Oh, great, I see Jackson Torok. I have no idea what that means. Let me give you one. I could call this line, I could say it's line AB and do this, right? But I could also use what other letters to call it? Anybody out there in the 5th grade world want to shoot out there at something that means? How about Alex?
Also that's BC.
Yeah, you really can't have any bad answer here. As long as you put that little line above it with the arrows. Okay, no matter what 2 points you put with it, you're going to be talking about this whole line. How about line, what else? What am I missing? I could do line AC, can I? I'm just looking at what I can call this here. Any other ones? I don't know. Okay. Sure. And the other thing they talk about is this, when you're given a shape, A, B, C, and D, when I name this shape here, I'm going to call it rectangle A, B, C, D. You need to give all of the points that make that up there. And then we can talk about its sides. If I was talking about this side, how would I show that side? Caleb?
Segment BC.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys are. Okay, this side over here would be segment AD. Notice there's no little arrows above it, I'm not talking about a line there. Same thing here, segment CD. Keep that little arrow off that. It's not real complicated stuff for 5th graders, is it? They might ask you, name a set of parallel segments. If they asked you this, how would you tell me what segments are parallel there? Throw me a couple, just one. They said name just one set, so Alex, you could say,
Segment A, B, and BC.
okay, AB and what?
BC or CD. Sorry.
Alright, you said AB and DC, correct. And make sure you put the little line above it so you're telling somebody it's a segment. What else could you have? There's another set there. Ooh. Kayleen Shawhammer. What else could I have? What are my other 2 sets of parallel lines? Say who? Did you say something or I didn't hear you?
No, I was saying one.
I've already got this line segment parallel to that line segment. What other 2 are parallel?
Segment AD and segment AC.
Perfect. AD and, did you say BC?
Yeah.
And BC. So it's not anything too terribly difficult there. And then one last final one. Write down this example sort of problem here. Put this down in your notes. Because I guarantee you, some of you won't do what I tell you to do. P, Q, and R. The length of segment PQ, the length of segment PQ is 3 centimeters. The length of PR is 8 centimeters. The question is, what is the length of QR? And once again, I don't care about the answer so much as I care about you showing me some work here. What do you suppose, if you see this problem in your book, if you see that problem in your book, what do you suppose the mean and nasty math teacher is going to tell you to do? Heaven forbid. Noah? Yeah, you don't have to write the words down, but you are definitely going to have to sketch out this line and label it with the information they give you. That doesn't take that long. You just copy down the little line, you put your points P, Q, and R. You don't have to measure them out, but it said that PQ is 3 centimeters. So here for PQ, whatever you want to show that that's 3 centimeters, you know that's 3 centimeters. Because what I found happens a lot is, okay, some people might say the answer is 5. They know that you do something with 8 and 3. You don't know to add or subtract it until you really look at it. We know that the length of PR is what?
5 centimeters.
No, it isn't. PR is 8 centimeters. Okay. And they want to know how far is it from Q to R. What is the set? How long is QR? And then once you've got this, obviously 11 is not the right answer because 11 will be a lot longer than everything that's there. How long is this right here? If it's 8 all the way, 3 from here to here, this piece has to be how much? Yeah? 5 centimeters. So I need to see this, and it won't take you that long. I know everybody's against showing all that work, but you really need to just get in the habit of doing that. Got that? Anybody have any problem with that? Who's excited about doing that?
Me.
Perfect. Any problems or questions with that? Make sure if you see a line drawn, you copy it on your homework paper, label it with the dimensions, and then go from there. All right, children. Oh, yeah. Take a look at page 390, will you please, for me? I don't know if we can